Hi, this is Ilma Art Studios photograph. Oh, sorry, it's inverted. Hi, this is Ilma Art Studios photograph for today. That is nice body of water in one of the conservation parks here nearby Orangeville. Hi, check my website at ilmaarts.com for more artworks and photographs. Today, I'd like to share Ezekiel 3 verse 27. It says, "But when I give you a message, I will loosen your tongue and let you speak. Then you will say to them, 'This is what the sovereign Lord says.' Those who choose to listen will listen, but those who refuse will refuse, for they are rebels." Here's my poem. Choices. Do you exert conscious effort to make the right choices? Are your choices bringing you closer to godliness? Do you allow the Lord to lead you to make decisions? Are your choices leaning towards God's intervention? Choose to listen to the Lord so your life will prosper. If you constantly defy Him, you'll continue to be a rebel. Allow the Lord to lead you where He wants you to go. Let Him lead you in all aspects of life so you may grow. Here's my essay. Researchers Verplanken and Holland found that individuals only made choices consistent with their values if those values were cognitively activated. The research reveals that when we make values-based decisions, we tend to feel more positive about them, and they can actually lend themselves to our ongoing motivation. The Bible tells us to choose life instead of death. In other words, if we live in love, we are choosing life and God. If we live in darkness and the dictates of this world, we are choosing death and the prince of this world, Satan. Which camp do you belong? Prayer. Lord, help me never to turn my back on you. Reflection. What choices have you made in the past that brought you where you are now? So many choices. I'm already going to be 58 this year. So there were so many wrong choices I made, but there are also good choices I did. One of the worst thing that I did in my life was to make choices based on what I felt and based on the filter of trauma. When your life is constantly traumatized, it is very hard to make choices that are not affected by how you view the world. In one of the seminars that I've been watching on YouTube about the effects of complex PTSD, or complex post-traumatic stress disorder, is like she calls it like being marinated in trauma. In other words, it's trauma for someone with complex PTSD is not an event or a thing that happened, but trauma is their life. They're constantly traumatized over and over and over again. That's why it's called marinated. When in your younger years you're exposed to constant trauma, and trauma only means that you are in a situation where you're helpless and you cannot, or you are actually experiencing a helpless event. When we are developing as a child, there are things that in Erickson's theory of development, we need to have certain progress every so often. Like example, from 0 to 18 months old, you start to walk and all that stuff. And when you are not in healthy environment and you're deprived of love, you're being neglected, you're being abused and told mean things, you you lose the grip to reality, because for you that is real, because you don't know any better. You don't know the good stuff, you only know the bad stuff. But you wouldn't know that it's bad until you grow older, and then you realize that, oh, that wasn't normal for others. So one of the wrong choices I made, because it was colored by my traumas, is to rebel, leave my home, because I felt like that's the only way I could protect myself, is to put myself out. As soon as I was old enough to be on my own, I left home. But sadly, what happened was, when I left the abuse environment I had, I also got attracted to people who are repeating the abuses that I went through. So, because I did not know the truth, which could have set me free, because in other words, the enemy kept me in bondage again and again. So, if I knew the Bible, if I read the Bible by then, it would probably will not take me longer to be saved or to be born again. So, there are also good choices that came out from that, because as an aftermath of all those wrong choices I made, it prolonged the plan that God had for me. But I think it also did good to me, because if I did not experience all this pain, all this trauma, I wouldn't be where I am right now, where God uses me to share with you, to share with many people about how God has brought me out from the darkness into the light, and has used actually my pain to have other people learn from them. So those are some of the wrong choices I made in my life, but it doesn't really define me, because the truth is that God loves me, and no matter what I do, no matter how bad I am, no matter if I turn my back on Him, He still loves me. That's how faithful He is. So I think that if we focus on this truth, on this, on the love of God, we will always make good choices. If we live in love and we don't live in fear, or we don't live on defense, then we will make good choices. So thanks for watching, and I hope you check my website at ilmaarts.com for more artworks and photographs. Have a blessed day. God loves you so much, and so do I.